Brewers take 2 of 3 from a team I think is headed to the playoffs. Could have won all 3 games of this series. Pitching does the job, and the offense helps the pitching off big time. We'll get to all that coming up next here in this edition of Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What a great bounce back for the Milwaukee Brewers. We've seen them do this so many times where, maybe on a Saturday night or a Friday night, they lose a game at home, bounce right back and play a terrific game. Saturday's game was no slouch. They were down 4-0 Saturday night. Churio hits the home run, and you're thinking, okay, he came up a little short, 5-3, but bounced back with a 12-4 win over the Mariners on Sunday afternoon. Take 2 of 3. Move that record to 6-2 with a big series of the Reds coming up. Good to have you along. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. I'm out here at the Final Four, but still covering the Milwaukee Brewers through technology and all that. And what a great victory that was at AmFam Field with the roof closed, able to play a game like today. It was beautiful. And the Brewers, again, 6-2 so far. You get us on Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the major downloads for Locked On Brewers. Anywhere you get your audio podcasts, we are there. We're the number one Brewers podcast on the internet for a reason, because you great Brewer fans out there. Go to Locked On Brewers on YouTube. Please go to our growing YouTube page, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. We'll alert you every time we drop an episode. We're not doing all these shows from a hotel room. Next couple of nights, though, this is where we'll be. But then we'll be back in the studio beginning back on Wednesday. But thank you, everybody, for following along here on Locked On Brewers. And the team is off to a 6-2 start. Swept those 3 games last weekend from the Mets. Split the 2 games with the Twins, who I believe is going to be a playoff team. And they come right back and take 2 of 3 from the Mariners, and now head on to a series with the Cincinnati Reds. So, yeah, great start for the Brewers. But you look at everybody in this division, everybody's playing well. The Cardinals are bringing up the rear. They're 5-5, everybody. And I know the Pirates are 8-2 at this point, but don't get caught up. You smart Brewer fans, where the Pirates are eventually going to end up in this division. I don't want to hear any of this talk about this young talent coming to fruition. Not worried. Yeah, am I watching the standings? Absolutely. Brewers, I believe, you game out, if my math serves me correctly, at 6-2. But a long way to go in a big series coming up with the Reds. We're going to get to all this coming up here in a little bit. And, of course, follow me on Twitter, Chuck Freeman, Freimund. Yeah, the pitching got a solid start from Colin Ray. And, some of you are coming after me that I'm trying to find the negative of the Milwaukee Brewers. No, I don't want to hear that. And I think Brewer fans out there understand, if you've been following this team, that the starting pitching is going to be an issue with this team this year. So when I say, yeah, they got to make longer start, I'm not just coming down on the Brewers and trying to rain on the parade. It's a fact, because you know what? We're trying to win not only a division title, but go far in the postseason. And we need everything working right on this team. So when I say, yeah, the pitching needs to have longer starts, and they're doing what they can, but they're doing what they can right now to win games. And they did get a long start. So I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to get the facts. I know some of you guys don't want to hear the facts, and you want all balloons and sunshine with the Milwaukee Brewers. And I want to see it too. But you know what? Yeah, there's some things in this team we're going to have to pull through the season. And looks like starting pitching is right now. And they were taxing the bullpen. There's no doubt about it. But not on Sunday. Sunday got a terrific start from Colin Ray. The longest start since Freddie Peralta on opening day. Colin Ray was not feeling well. He had the flu. Sounds like, it was not doing well. The fluids were being pumped into him, trying to, fix him. But he went out there and gutted it out. First inning, gave up a run, gave up another run. I believe it was a second inning, 2 pitches, 1 run. But after that, fantastic. And the bullpen came in the final couple of innings and did the work. A 2-run homer was allowed in the 9th inning. But, hey, Colin Ray, 6 innings, much needed. A much-needed 6-inning start. considering the injuries that are in the starting rotation, and they got the Reds on the road. And not only they got the Reds on the road, but they're going to be on the road next weekend against a Baltimore team that we all know could compete for a World Series championship. But Colin Ray, yeah, solid 6 innings, just what the doctor ordered, no pun intended, coming off the sick bed was Colin Ray. So a big win for the Brewers. Offensively, though, picking up the pitching today was huge. Offensively, putting up the 12 runs on the board. William Contreras with a couple of home runs, two home runs. Sal Frelick with a 2-run double. They dropped him down to 6th in the order today, and they moved Oliver Dunn out to the top spot. This was a decision, excuse me, this was a decision that was made a couple of hours before game time by Pat Murphy and some members of his coaching staff that they were going to flip-flop in the order, and it worked out. You know, they flip-flopped those two. They moved the struggling Frelick down to 6th and produced a 2-run double. Will Contreras just has picked up where he left off last year. And, you know, what he did last year, I think some people were a little skeptical what he could do for an encore, but so far so good with Contreras. Finally had his first off day on Saturday. Had caught the first, 7 games of the season. Finally, Saturday night, he got a rest, but I believe he was like one of the only catchers, maybe the only catcher in baseball to have caught the first 7 games of the season. But yeah, you look at the Brewers so far, things are going well, maybe better than we expected so far with the Brewers. And going into a big road trip with the Reds. And somebody might say, well, it's only April. But again, 162, every one of these games count. You know, the Reds are going to, look at the way the division is right now. Okay. Do I expect all 5 teams to have winning records at the end of the season? Mathematically, I don't think that's possible. But sooner or later, these teams will start playing each other. And the Reds did get beat 2-3 by the Mets this weekend. And Reds bullpen, or the Reds could have lost all 3 of those games. The Reds came back in the Mets bullpen on Saturday. But we'll get to the Reds coming up here in a little bit. But Sal Frelick, yes. And Contreras, the 2 home runs, and the offense did a great job. Christian Yelich missed the game with an neck. We'll talk more about that coming up here in a little bit. Chuck Friedman, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Good to have you along here, even on the West Coast. We're keeping this thing going. PrizePicks. PrizePicks, great sponsor of the show. If you've been thinking about getting into this, baseball season's officially underway. And take your pick of more or less and add them to PrizePicks. Entry today, the best players, take the worst players in the game. How you think they're going to produce? It's all here. PrizePicks has something for every sports fan. Basketball, baseball, you name it. Pick one of your favorite players. Pick a great matchup. PrizePicks has a way you can earn up to 100 times your money. And they got great deals as well. PrizePicks even offers injury insurance so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets hurt. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, an enormous selection of players and stat types that are making PrizePicks the #1 fantasy sports app. They offer weekly promotions as well. So what you need to do, download the app today, PrizePicks. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for our first deposit match up to $100. It's easy as that. Download the app, PrizePicks, wherever you download your apps. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Your first the deposit match up to $100, and you're going to be good to go. And you're going to get that match of $100 and see what you can do. Baseball, basketball, NBA, and of course the college game coming up on Monday night. That's PrizePicks, a great sponsor here of Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. We're coming right back after this timeout. Chuck Friedman here, Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I know we don't have the background. If you're watching me on YouTube, you don't have the background that we normally have in our Locked On Brewers studio. We'll be back a little bit later on the week, but taking the show on the road, I was called to duty to cover the Final Four, so that's an opportunity that you can't pass up. So took the show on the road. Still, can tell you everything that happened in all these games and follow them. And, they're our favorite team for a reason because the Brewers, they get our hopes up sometimes. And right now they're 6-2. So we have great expectations for these guys, I think, going in, even though there's so many teams, like I said, in this division that are playing well. Christian Yelich, neck injury. Pat Murphy mentioned this on the pregame show the other day, something going on with the neck. We'll have to monitor that and see how that goes. But Yelich is, I think when I woke up Sunday morning, I saw the lineup. And the first thing was, I put this on Twitter. Oh, boy. Here we go with that Sunday morning lineup, Sunday lineup again. And you know how that Sunday lineup usually works with the Milwaukee Brewers. It's a long tradition with the Milwaukee Brewers where it's a Sunday lineup. It's like, oh, who wants to play today? That guy who hasn't played in a while. Well, we'll put him clean up. Oh, we'll put him in the 2 spot. Oh, you haven't let off? Okay. Oh, we'll give this guy. We'll give all our stars a day off. Well, Yelich was not in the lineup. And I'm like, man, they're on a roll right now. Yelich is 3 home runs on the season. Got to get Yelich into the lineup, but he's got a neck injury. And that Sunday lineup worked out. And it worked out. They shuffled a few guys around, and it's been great. But hopefully Yelich will be back soon. But he did rest Sunday because of a sore neck that has been bothering him. You look up and down this lineup, and you put Oliver Dunn in the leadoff spot. I mean, how big has that guy been so far? He's batting .308. When most of the offseason, we've been sitting here on Locked On Brewers and wondering who's going to play third base, all our options and all that. And here was Oliver Dunn, AA experience. Hit a home run, his first major league home run. Put that guy anywhere in the lineup, and he fits right in. It's like Jackson Chourio. I'm not comparing the talent to Jackson Chourio, but Chourio's come right up, and you would have never known that you would never tell he's a rookie. Dunn comes up, okay, and you would never know that this guy didn't play above AA, and he's been rock solid. And you can put him in the leadoff spot. And the guy's not going to be fearful for that. So, yeah, wow. Oliver Dunn, big part of the reason why this team is 6-2. You haven't had to worry about third base. Let's play it out, because what's going to happen, as I've always tell you, when these young guys come up and they start raking right away and hitting, major league pitching coaches with their technology, they're going to find out how to counter this. They're going to get the word out. They're going to watch tape, and they're going to see where Dunn's weaknesses are, how we get this guy. They're going to figure it out. And then, as Counsell used to explain, then it's up to the player to make that readjustment back. It's an adjustment game. It's a chess match back and forth. But right now, Dunn is doing a heck of a job on this team, and they will counter it. Pitching coaches in baseball will counter that. We'll see what happens from here. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about this game coming up, the Reds, and just a big series coming up, the Reds. One of the games may not be played. There's a chance of some storms and rain coming to Cincinnati. We'll talk about that coming up here in a little bit. The show is brought to you in part by Game Time. If you're going to Cincinnati, go to Game Time. Go to the app and find out, and you'll find out exactly, you're going down there and where you're going to sit. You can just punch up the seat, and it'll give you a direct view on where you're sitting. First of all, you got to download Game Time and go from there. But there's so many great deals that they offer, and they're offering a really special one right now. But that's where I get my tickets. If I go online and I'm looking for tickets for a Brewer game, for a Sunday game, or a Saturday night game, which we like to go to, I go to Game Time, and you can go up to like an hour into the game. Now, I never do that. But if you're going an hour before the game or so, I mean, those prices, you know how it is. Those prices start dropping. You get some good deals. Game Time has got all those great deals. Last minute deals. Save the 60% off on buying last minute sports, concerts, comedy, theater, anything. NBA. They're all here. People selling their tickets on Game Time, and you need to take advantage of it. Now, here's the deal. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. For a limited time, you get $20 off any MLB purchase of $150 or more. $20 off of MLB purchase of 150 or more in the Game Time app. You got to use the promo code First Pitch. First Pitch. Spell it out like this: FRFIRSTPITCH. First Pitch. $20 until March 14th. Download the Game Time app. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed on Game Time. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Coming right back down the home stretch after this timeout. Welcome back to Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman here. Good to have you along here on a Sunday night. We'll be dropping this episode coming up here in a couple of minutes for Sunday night viewing and audio. If you need something to do, hey, Sunday night TV, there's no NFL. And what are you doing on Sunday night? We'll be here on Sunday nights talking Brewers baseball with you right here on Locked On Brewers. The Reds got beat 2-3 this past weekend by the Mets. So it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday afternoon series. Tuesday looks like it's going to be an all-day rain in Cincinnati as of right now. I've been monitoring this forecast. So, yeah, if you're heading down there or you're making plans, obviously, to watch the game Tuesday, and Tuesday might be a little dicey. But the pitching matchups for Milwaukee, Aaron Ashby is going to go on Monday. Junis went to the injured list, as we know about. That's another loss. You got Miley on the injured list, and who made the rehab start over the weekend. But Aaron Ashby is going to get his opportunity. We talked about possibly Ashby joining the rotation when the season started, but he's going to get the opportunity right now with Junis on the injured list. So that might be another 4-inning start. We'll see how many innings they go with him. But he's going against Graham Ashcroft. Game 2 of the series, Joe Ross is going against Frankie Montas. The Brewers haven't announced their pitcher for Saturday or for Wednesday against Hunter Green. Haven't announced Wednesday's starting pitcher. Freddie's going Thursday in the afternoon game against Nick Martinez. But, the Reds, they are, I believe, 5-4 at this point, off the top of my head. Spencer Steer has been off to a terrific start for the Reds. He had a nice season last year. And, the Reds will be a tough out. Now, the Reds have visions of winning this division. Won 83 games a year ago. Their starting pitching has always been suspect. Their bullpen blew up in Saturday's game against the Mets. And this will be a fun test for the Brewers going in there with a 4-game series. And you go into the road, as you know, at least get a split. Take 2 of 4 of these guys. If they play 3 games because one is washed out, take 2 or 3, and then head to Baltimore beginning on Friday night. Hopefully the pitching hangs in there and keep the offense going, because the offense was fantastic. Fantastic on Sunday. Man, they could have won. Again, they could have won all 3 games of the series. Solid game on Friday. Close that one out. The 4 walks, pushing in the game-winning run. Hey, you take him any way you can get him, man. There's going to be games like that for the Brewers where they're going to lose games like that. So you'll take a gift like that every single day. Saturday, almost rebounded from a 4-0 deficit. Churio hits the 2-run home run in the 8th inning, but they go quiet in the bottom half of the 9th inning, and that was it right there. Hoskins just missed a grand slam, too, on Thursday night. Just missed it. Sac fly to make it 4-3. And then Urias hits the home run for Seattle. Got a feeling some of these former Brewers will come back and bite the Brewers along the way. We'll get in that once we get further into the season. But Urias kind of hit that home run. The Brewers had some momentum going to the top of the 9th inning on Saturday, and Urias hits that home run, and I was like, yeah, all right. So, hey, 6-2. Better than 2-6. Everybody in the division playing well, and we'll take it at this point. It has been a fun start to the Brewers season so far, watching guys like Churio, watching Oliver Dunn. The bullpen, yeah, it's getting taxed a little bit, but hopefully we'll get some more longer starts along the way, like Colin Ray gave them Sunday. Freddie pitches Thursday in Cincinnati. Hopefully Freddie can give him a long one and get the Get that bullpen all set and ready to go, and don't tax them early in the season. But yeah, I think it's a fun start so far. Fun start. Willie Adames hit a home run, second of the series. Willie Hoskins is such an exciting player to watch. You never know what he's going to do at the plate. So many guys, I think, on this team so far contributing, and that's the reason why they're 6-2. Just need longer starts, like what Ray gave them on Sunday, and keep this thing going early in the season. Not being critical, but we know the starting pitching is the weakness of this team, and it's going to have to be. They're going to have to get longer starts from these guys. Ross, 4-inning start, his last time out. We'll see what he does if they get that game in on Tuesday. Get him a little bit, get him to the 6th inning. Get these guys, these starters to the 6th inning. Can't have 4-inning starts all season because, man, that's eventually going to take its toll. I don't have to tell you that, but you all know that's going to happen. Going to do it for the show today. Talk tomorrow night, everybody. Hopefully the Brewers and Reds doesn't look like any rain on Monday night. Get that in. And we'll see what Ashby does in his 2024 debut. Locked On Brewers. You get it on Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the major downloads. You get us on all the major downloads because we're the #1 Brewer podcast on the internet. Please go to Locked On Brewers on YouTube. Search Locked On Brewers. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. That'll alert you every time we drop an episode on Locked On Brewers. And, of course, follow me on Twitter. Always like reading your comments. The comments, you can write comments on the YouTube page as well. It's all right there for you. So follow me on Twitter, Chuck Freeman, FREIMUND. That's going to do it for the show today here on a Sunday night. Have yourself a great rest of the weekend. We'll talk to you all Monday night, everybody. Locked On Brewers is part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. So long, everybody.